risk लेना ज़रूरी है in their professional and personal life? Do you think the advantages of taking risk outweigh the disadvantages? Fine, this is an advantage and an outweigh question. So moving on. Taking risks is spelling mistake, right? Pivotal, you want to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Pivotal. For people, for their occupational and personal life. Occupational life, for their career and personal life. Occupational life is not the right word that you should be using. And should not be used like this. Do not use any abbreviations, any short forms. Put it completely. And personal life. In my opinion, put a comma, correct. This can try to avoid this. Yeah, can have its okay. Its own merits and demerits. Depends, nahi, depending on the situation and efforts. In this essay, I will share my opinion whether ka spelling is wrong. This is weather forecast wala weather, WHETHER, whether advantages of taking risks subside its disadvantages. Actually, share your opinion right here, right now. Instead of analyzing it at the very end, say your opinion. I feel that the risks, taking risks, outnumber or outperform the drawbacks. Mention your viewpoint clearly right in the beginning itself. Okay? Opinion is required rather than analyzing the opinion at the very end. So before comparing, one should consider, yeah, one should know. The verb is missing. One should consider about
its pros and cons.
One should consider its pros and cons to have a better approach. Okay. No need to write this statement at all, because this is what you have mentioned right in the introduction also कि सबका merit and demerit है depending on the situation and efforts. तो आपको ये कहने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है कि हमें consider करना है, हम consider ही कर रहे हैं, right? It is not right to write it here. Taking risks can obviously, तो आप जब अपना risk वाला पैरा start कर रहे हो कि risk के benefits बता रहे हो, you can start with a linker. You can say that considering the pros, and then you can start off. So here maybe we can say considering the pros. Yeah, taking the pros into consideration. Taking हो गया, taking या फिर very standard line जो है हमारी on the one hand, ये बहुत standard way है. या फिर आप to embark upon, right? To start with, taking risk can obviously be dangerous. अच्छा, okay. And so you're starting with disadvantages, are you?
Ma'am, in this question, I was not able to understand. Like, I didn't have any task response. I was not able to clarify what to write.
क्यों? Do you understand the topic? Taking risks?
Ma'am, yeah, I understand the language, but I didn't have anything to say.
Idea. Okay. देखो, दो parts हैं question के. There are two parts to the question.
I was just once I write about it's good, I just think it's not good. Then when I write about it's not good, then I think it's good.
Okay. That means you have not brainstormed yourself quite well.
I could not
generate enough ideas. That's what I feel. Okay. One is professional life, one is personal life, isn't it? And then you're taking risks. So these are the pluses and these are the minuses. Okay. Now when you take risks in your personal life, what happens? Let's say this is more of hypothetical example based. right? There are a lot of examples that are based on this particular one. Let's say somebody has done his or her graduation, and they decided to change their job or to start working on their own. So to start something on their own, so somebody does a startup and
Yes, ma'am.
faces a lot of profits. So here the profits are something that have to be shared only with oneself, right? They don't have to share it with anyone at all. So this is an advantageous proposition as far as taking risk in the professional life is concerned, right? Also, let's say there is an employee who is working full time, and he decides to take a break and maybe move to another company who is who is paying him a slightly less salary, and but the other perks are too much, right? So the employees takes this call and moves to this new company where he is not only enjoying his work life, he has also started paying attention, or he started also enjoying his personal life as well. So again, this is a beneficial thing for him, right? So he took a risk by leaving his full-time position, and here he took a risk by not going into a traditional conventional way of taking a job and then earning a salary, right? So he took the risk and he did well in his life. Coming to a personal listing, what is the advantage of taking risk in personal life? Let's say there is it can come in the form of relationship. Let's say a person marries, right, without knowing who is this other person. For
Yes, I've
example, the
mentioned
case
this
of
point.
arranged marriage, right? And this person turns out to be the best soulmate for you. So
Yes, ma'am.
you've taken the risk and now you're reaping the benefits. So these are the two things that you can mention in your first paragraph, right? And since it is outweigh, make this as body para 1 and make this as body para 2 if you think that advantages outweigh, right? But if you think the disadvantages outweigh, then you have to make it the other way around. Now let's come to the disadvantages of taking a risk in professional life. Let's say,
So we can add advantages in one paragraph and disadvantages in another.
नहीं, जब भी आउटवे होगा
Professional.
आपको 3 पैरा फॉर्म करने, 3 बॉडी पैराग्राफ्स फॉर्म करने जब भी आपका आउटवे होगा, when it is outweigh. So let's say you decide that advantages are more than disadvantages. Advantages.
Outweigh is opinionated.
Exactly. Outweighs opinionated question. So when advantages are more, you will have 2 body paragraphs for advantages and 1 body paragraph for disadvantages. When you decide the other way around, that is disadvantages are more, so you will have 2 body paragraphs for disadvantages and 1 body para for advantages. So your content should show a disbalance, and when there is disbalance, then it will have an outweigh. So this is outweighing this is outweighing that. ठीक है, अगर ऐसा नहीं हो,
We can do it like advantages in one paragraph, then disadvantages in another, and then our opinion by sharing the advantages. Then we will have 2 paragraphs for advantages as well.
yeah, but make sure that the points do not overlap, because your opinion might be having some advantages which you have
Similar
discussed
things.
above. Yeah, yeah. So since you already have two things over here, you can do it like this. Now coming to disadvantages of taking risk in professional life, you can talk about the money market. You can talk about the shares. Let's say somebody has bought shares and he took a risk. He invested all his money in this market, and eventually he lost everything. That person lost everything. So you can pick up any example, right? People become from multi-millionaires, they become roadside, uh, or I think you can take the example of the worldwide recession that took place in 1930s, right? where people lost everything. So people who had invested a lot in the share market, they were the ones who suffered the maximum, right? So they took the risk and they lost. So it is a disadvantageous thing to take risk in professional life. Or for personal life, again, we can talk about relationships. We can, if there is somebody whom we dearly know, whom we love, and that person turns out to be something else, right?
But then it will not be repetition of.
Yeah, that might be a repetition. So what example have you written?
For disadvantages.
Yeah, have you written any example?
Ma'am, I've written about
I would say it like this: love marriage. Okay, let me read your
on
answer.
road traffic accidents I've written. Like if there is a car race or bike race,
Risk
then
लेते
a
हैं लोग.
person
Okay,
takes a risk for money, but if he or she loses, then
they
they
lose their
lose
life.
life. Yeah.
Okay. Taking risks can obviously be dangerous. So start with the advantages, then come to disadvantages. Can obviously be dangerous and can also prove, and can लिखा हुआ है already, तो can लिखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है दोबारा. And prove to be the worst, क्योंकि worst क्या है, it's a superlative degree, the worst decision of life. When it is not planned properly. With massive research, put a full stop and begin with a new sentence. With massive research and best ideas to put forward, I would not say that it fails to show its a complete result. Okay. आप तो कह रहे हो कि अगर डेंजरस है तो पता ही नहीं चलता कि डेंजरस है कि नहीं, क्योंकि
मैम मैंने बोला ना, मैं लिखते हुए आई वाज लाइक समटाइम्स इन फेवर ऑफ वन पॉइंट
no, this is just digression है ideas का. कुछ समझ ही नहीं आएगा, मतलब आप खुद ही कह रहे
because
हो कि
risk is risk. Now you cannot decide whether it is good or it's bad.
no, you put yourself in the situation. No, imagine yourself in a professional situation and you taking risk. How would you feel? How would it be an advantageous situation for you, and how it can turn out to be a disadvantageous thing? And then you put it around in different words.
If a person during the operation, people are like there is a risk of life, but still the doctors perform the
Exactly,
operations.
that's a very good example. Very good example.
I just thought of my profession, like I'm from the medical side only.
Okay. But if you write a sentence like this, कि कितने भी बेस्ट आइडियाज डालो, इससे कोई रिजल्ट नहीं निकलेगा, दैट मीन्स यू योरसेल्फ आर कॉन्ट्रडिक्टिंग कि आपने जो पॉइंट लिखा है वो इट्स नॉट वेरीफाइबल, right? So don't mention such lines. A risk is also a kind of idea for the person doubtful about. No need to say what is risk. For example, in a profession, risk can be investing a lot of time on something that is one is not sure about, and in the personal life, it can be a car or bike race, which the individual can win. Actually, you have not explained it enough. You're just jumping onto to an example. There has to be आपका जो structure है ना, it has to have a topic sentence. You will tell. Then you will write the supporting ideas. Now sometimes the supporting ideas can combine with the example also, but most of the time the supporting ideas have to be different, and then you have the example. Not like that you are having the example in the first place and then you are deriving a conclusion. That's called deduction approach, which we normally avoid in IELTS writing task 2. We follow the induction approach कि पहले हमने main idea बता दिया, उसको example दे दिया, and then we are talking about the उसको supporting idea बता दिया, then we are talking about the example. तो ये तो बहुत अच्छा आपने नहीं लिखा है. Crisis.
मैं खुद confused. मैंने वो task.
Yes, crisis. Debt crisis. The advantage of taking risk. अब यहाँ पर आप on the other hand बोल सकते हो, conversely बोल सकते हो, right? Taking a risk can make a person feel more confident and fearless in life, which will allow he or her, नहीं him or her, to be able to face any challenge coming. to them in future. मतलब challenge तो obviously future में आएगा ना. तो this is called redundancy. To be able to face any challenges. Simply to be able की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है. To face any challenge in future. That's it. है ना? तो ये क्या है? This is called redundancy. I think I told you this before as well. But
Yes, ma'am.
but this confidence can also have a bad approach. Bad approach नहीं, bad you know can
Results.
have results can have adverse ramifications. Ramification क्या है? इसका impact. If the person does not handle it with a positive approach, ठीक है? It is more tough for individual to recover the loss. To conclude, a risk should be taken with a calculative thinking, calculative thought process या calculative approach. अब आपने approach जो है बहुत बार use कर लिया है. With a calculative thought, thinking नहीं होगा ना.
Opinion.
No, calculative opinion नहीं होता. With a calculative or after a calculative or after analyzing or after having calculated all the risks, a risk should be taken with a calculative. I think approach is the right word here. Approach या फिर calculative. No, that's it. That's what I can think of at the moment. Only then होगा ना, dan नहीं होगा. Only then the risk can have its best approach. Risk can have its better results or consequences. So it can have more benefits. Task response सब गड़बड़ हो गया आपका task response. बहुत ज़्यादा लो चला गया. Coherence and cohesion. Coherence and cohesion also, it's not up to the mark because you have used certain linking devices, but there are a lot of opportunities where you can
Not
actually start. Yeah. Lexical resource, okay, not bad, it's okay. Grammatical range and accuracy. So the overall is going to be a bad one. 5.5.